Albus, you cannot play with that while we're doing this, bud. Okay. I kind of want to... Okay, excuse me just a minute.
Welcome back, we're the Book Mavens. We decided we'd do a little classic book haul video for you and just kind of show you or walk you through some of the items that are on our TBR. My TBR is very extensive. This is just a small slice, but I wanted to show you some of the books that I had physical copies for that I'm very excited to read or I'm in the process of reading and just want to gush. And you know that's where we are.
You know, when you buy a beautiful book, you want people to look at it. So
absolutely.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I have extensive TBR, but I also use Scribd. And so I do a lot of digital reading. So it is, I am noticing a pattern in the books that I'm willing to purchase versus the books that I'm just willing to store digitally, like on my phone. You'll see it too.
Well, see, I used to be a primary digital reader because I have 3 small children. My sons are 6, 3, and 2, almost 2. And so keeping physical copies in my house has been a little rough because there's nothing worse than having your book get torn up by a little kid. So I was primarily doing digitals, but now I'm trying to get back into physical copies because I used to be such a book purist in terms of not reading things. When I caved and finally got like a Kindle for the first time, that was like a big moment. Anyway, so I am enjoying it because a lot of the books that I read just have the most beautiful covers, and I am a little bit of I do like a really pretty book and books that look very appealing. I like to be surrounded with things like that. They become pieces of art. And so,
yeah, I agree. Yeah, so this is our last
they can see it.
Couple of our last couple of hauls. So this for me is Barnes and Noble's, my favorite local independent, and then somewhere Target in Billsbane. They get me when I'm in there.
So the first books that I want to talk about are the Red Rising series. I picked up Red Rising from Barnes & Noble, just the first one, based on a recommendation from Daniel Green. So shout out to Daniel Green. About this being a really good kind of introduction into science fiction, and science fiction was my goal. That was the genre that I wanted to interact with more. I wanted to kind of expand out of fantasy, which is where I primarily reside. All right. And so I picked up Red Rising, devoured it. Amazing.
She did.
So I loved all of the Greek and Roman elements to it. I like that the first book has definitely a Hunger Games quality to it. It's very much an edge of your seat, a lot of action. It's incredibly violent, but if you look at like the Greeks and Romans and if that being an inspiration, it's just kind of like
that's on brand.
A given. Yes. So I immediately went on Amazon and ordered the other books of the series. Now, Red Rising is considered a trilogy, so you have the second and third books, Golden Sun and Morning Star, and I have completed all 3 of these. I did want to share it with you because it was part of my initial book haul. I just read them very, very quickly and loved them.
She came in one day, she's like, I'm a little sleepy today. I was like, what? She goes, well, it ended on a cliffhanger, so I had to go 100 pages in a new book. I was like, okay.
The second one ended on a cliffhanger. You couldn't leave that, so I had to pick up the third one and read the first 150 pages before I was satisfied that I could set it down. So they are very exciting books. I really loved it. Now, I've heard mixed things about I don't want to call them, they're not companion books, but they continue the Red Rising story, and it's Iron Gold and Dark Age. And these pick up 10 years after the events where the first trilogy ends. And people haven't been as excited about these, so I haven't picked these up. I decided to give myself a little Red Rising break and focus on some other books that I was interested in reading to try and let me finish digesting these, because these were fabulous and I really, really enjoyed them. And I'm just hoping that the other 2 don't ruin it for me on any kind of level. Darrow, Mustang. If you've read these, they're just amazing. Severo, oh my goodness. The characters in here are just so well developed. and they make mistakes and they have flaws. You know, I like a good flawed character, but just, you know, trying to overcome some really tremendous obstacles is amazing. And about trust and about what it takes to be a leader. All of these things are highlighted in here. And not just that, but just such really, really great criticisms over just kind of government systems and how we view leadership and like a meritocracy system. There's just a lot of really great kind of reflective moments about the flaws in a lot of the systems. And so I really enjoyed them. So like the first one, like I said, was very kind of Hunger Games-ish. The next one become far more politicized. But all of these things are taking place across planets and moons of all the different planets within our solar system. So the first one focuses primarily on Mars, but in the second and third books, you really expand out into the universe. And so I really, really, these were just incredible books. And if you're somebody who likes a great deal of character development and political intrigue, these are the books for you, because these were really, really excellent. And the setting in space just adds a whole other element. There's just some really, really interesting things. They have a whole caste system. Everybody in the caste system, they're separated out by colors. Each color looks different behaviors, and it's really cool. And I really enjoyed them. So like I said, I still have these two to go, and I will get to them. Like I said, I'm hesitating because I just don't want it to ruin my love for the original trilogy, which were very, very good, very high up. And my overall, just general how I feel about books, these are very high up there for me. So
Love it.
I was excited. Yeah.
I picked up, I went shopping for a book for a gift, and I left with the gift book, but also some more books for myself. Okay, so I saw...
There's no judgment here.
I was going to say, I saw it was actually a book for Rachel, but that's a surprise for later. I saw what looks like to be the newest book by this author, Susan Elia McNeil. It was called The Hollywood Spy, and it had this beautiful, like, kind of old Hollywood looking cover. But then I was like reading it. It was part of a series, and I was like, oh, well, if it's a new detective, I want to start at the beginning. So I went and looked, and Mrs. Churchill's Secretary is the beginning one. So it's set, it's a, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember the name of Maggie Hope. It's a Maggie Hope mystery. So I'm excited to see how this author does, because basically it's kind of a historical fiction meets high adventure spy. So Maggie Hope works for British intelligence and doing a lot of like code cracking and things during World War II. And like she sets herself up for it. So it says, so on the back, it says, in troubled, deadly times with air raid sirens sending multitudes underground, access to the war rooms also exposes Maggie to the machinations of a menacing faction determined to do whatever it takes to change the course of history.
Dun,
you know,
dun,
dun, dun, dun, dun, dun. So it's got, you know, I'm always up for a new mystery detective character. So I got this one. And then I also got, on that same vein, this was one on my local bookstores watch. It was a Cope, K-O-P-P, a Cope Sisters novel. So the detective is a set of sisters, which I was intrigued by Amy Stewart. This is one of the new ones, Miss Cope Investigates. I was just kind of intrigued by the premise, because it's a sister duo. It's supposed to be after World War One. So they're readjusting after the First World War, and they have to, it says it brilliantly captures the women of this era, their ambitions for the future, as well as the ties that bind at the start of a promising new decade, and once again provides smart, funny, staunchly feminist entertainment. So those are two new like detective characters that I'm interested in seeing if I enjoy and want to continue with those series. And all the books are beautiful. It's hard to pick which goes next.
There. Well, I'll talk about the Witch Haven. This was a
That's a
bookish
beautiful
box.
book.
I know, right? It has the sprayed edges. So fancy. as opposed to the deckled edges. I learned all kinds of weird things. I think I have a deckled edge one I can show you if you didn't know what that looked like. But the Witch Haven, this is a YA book. So I have a subscription to the Bookish Box. I'm not trying to plug them right now or anything, but
if you're interested in sponsoring us, you just get with us. Let us know. Yeah. Same thing for you, Script.
There we go. And I have a YA subscription. So this was the YA book. Now they're running behind, so I don't remember which month this was even associated with. But anyway, Hex Haven. I love the names. All right, so it's like a school for witches, and this is taking place in a really interesting time period. So this is your early 20th century in America, in New York City, where this girl is accused of murder, and it's because her powers have run amok. Ooh, amok. And she gets kind of picked up and sent to Hex Haven. And there's all kinds of interesting things. There's a little bit of a love triangle going on, which I don't love that.
It's very YA.
It is very YA. This is a YA book. I have to say that it is leading up to a sequel. The sequel sounds like it's going to be far more interesting than this one. This one was kind of a hit or miss for me. I did read it. It was part of my TBR. I just go through books.
Devouring.
And like I said, so the second one I think is going to be more exciting. The way they left this one off is going to give you a more, I think, clear villain in the story, which I think will make it a little easier to get more involved in the characters. But this was, overall, it was cute. You had a little bit of like a sisterhood that happens in the school, which was nice. I could have stood for some more character development. But if you're somebody who's looking for a fairly light read where you don't really see too much in terms of world building, I don't think in this one definitely focuses a first person narrative on her journey. It talks a lot about grief. She lost her brother and her trying to process that grief. So if those are topics that are of interest to you, you might want to pick it up and give it a read. So, but I'm looking more for it. I will pick up the sequel. It was certainly good enough for me to want to see what's going to happen in the next one. So I have hope for this one, this series.
My next up is another World War II historical fiction.
Who would have thought?
And there's more in the list to come. This one is, actually, this is the same author, Ariel Lawhon. You told me, remember I was Anastasia? Oh, no, it wasn't you. I'm sorry. It was my friend Laura.
It wasn't me.
This is the same author. I had a friend who read this author's other book, and she talked about how great it was. So Ariel Lawhon's codename Helene. Codename Helene. And it's a historical fiction about a Nancy Wake is an Australian expat living in Paris in 1936. She kind of becomes, so the Germans invade France, and she kind of finds herself in this position where she kind of basically becomes a spy. The New York Post said, fascinating.
There you go.
That's their thing. So a compulsively readable account of a little known yet extraordinary historical figure, Lawhon's best book to date.
Okay.
It sounded good. It had all the hallmarks of things I like. The time period, historical fiction, lesser known female character.
It's just check
a little bit of mystery spycraft in there. It was, and the cover's beautiful. So
you
it
have
was like
calling my name. This one's a spy one too. You got a couple of spy ones.
I definitely I love a mystery. I love a historical fiction. I love a World War II. It's just,
and this is why she will love Outlander. Help me out, viewers, and convince this woman that she needs to read Outlander because she would really like it.
Sure. What's your? I believe.
She doubts me so much.
I don't doubt you.
Somebody, I feel like, has put a worm in her ear and telling her that she's not going to like it.
It's nobody. It's me. It's the television show, to be honest. That's what's kind of turned me off of it.
You don't have to watch the television show. The television show, especially after the first one, really deviates from the books. I'm just saying.
Anyway, tell us about your next book.
All right. My next book, well, she mentioned N.K. Jemisin, and I had picked up one. I picked up The City We Became. I'm going to take off my...
Oh, it's okay.
I hate when there are stickers on my books.
I'll work on it, but it takes a little bit of, to get it all off.
So generally, the fantasy that I read takes place in more like that kind of traditionalized medieval Lord of the Ringsy kind of setting, where this is supposed to be kind of modern. This is the city we became. It's talking about like all the boroughs of New York City that kind of become sentient. And yeah, it just sounds really, really interesting. It's visionary and immersive, engaging. All right, so N.K. Jemisin's star is definitely on the rise in terms of just the fantasy literature that she's coming out, just a more diverse perspective. And I really like that she's the settings she's using are modern settings as opposed to those more medieval settings. And I am really excited to read this because it sounds very, very interesting. I'm ready to go.
Okay, let me give you a break from the historical fiction. I picked up the companion book that goes with Ken Burns' new series on Ernest Hemingway.
You're such a nerd.
I am. I love a documentary. I love a Ken Burns documentary. I'm a big PBS kid over here. But it's a selection of stories and things that go along with the things that they talk about in the miniseries. So it's a companion. This one's probably going to be on my holiday read list so that I can watch and read as we go through. But I also like the cover. It's made of words. It's a very beautiful cover. Just to give you a break from the historical fiction. Also, I dropped some of my books on the floor somewhere.
So my next book is a book by Hannah Whitten, For the Wolf. All right, it's a bit of a fairy tale retelling. I've heard these are deckled edges in case you wanted to know.
I did not know either of those words you used.
And anyway, so this is very interesting. It looked really cool. I love anything where they're going to retell some classic fairy tales, and that's what they do with this. So it's kind of a Beauty and the Beast meets Little Red Riding Hood kind of deal. The cover art for this spoke to me. And this has been out, I think, for over a year, so it's not super new. But and I like the floppy paperbacks, not like a mass paperback, but I like these kind of the bigger ones as opposed to hardcovers. Hardcovers I'm always so worried about damaging them. These ones I feel like just survive a little better. I don't know, just my opinion. And a lot of people have, well-known authors have kind of tuned in and saying that this is a very interesting read. It is labeled as a book 1 to the Wilderwood series. So I'm hoping that it's really good because I really do. I like Beauty and the Beast retellings. I don't know why. I don't know why those are so appealing, but
sometimes stuff just speaks to you.
It does. So I'm going to give this a read.
Back to my theme. This one is called The Living and the Lost by Ellen Feldman. Yeah. The Living and the Lost. It's about post-war Berlin. So it's Americans who are living in Berlin as that transition from World War II into, post-war Germany. And it's about, it says it's living and working in bombed-out Berlin, a latter-day Wild West where spies ply their trade, black markets thrive, and forbidden fraternization is rampant. Millie must come to terms with a past decision made in a moment of crisis, and with the enigmatic and sometimes infuriating Major Sutton, who has his own demons from the past. Atmospheric and page-turning, The Living and the Lost is a story of survival, love, forgiveness of others, and of self. A terrific read, brilliantly written, according to Kevin Baker.
Okay.
Yeah. It just caught my eye. It was one that just sounded really beautiful and poignant. And as I've learned about myself in the Summer of Hobbs, apparently I love a tragic tale. So
that is true. You do. You really immerse yourself in that.
I discovered a lot about myself over that Summer of Hobbs challenge.
Hopefully good things.
I mean, mostly good. Mostly good, but apparently I love a tragedy, which I would not have said prior to that. And I still don't think that I do.
To wallow in it.
Apparently, I just love to get in the feels. Which I would never have, I would not have known that about myself. I like to get in other people's feels, I guess is what it is. I don't like to talk about my own emotions.
There you go. Well, it's safer.
Emotions, messy, terrible things make you late for dinner, to use a line from The Hobbit incorrectly.
All right, well, my next book, it's an Alex Harrow book. She has another one, The Once and Future Witches, which I really do want to read. I want to get back to that one. Like I said, I did give it up. It was on my TBR at one point in time. I did give it to a student. But this is supposed to be really interesting. this book. It's called The 10,000 Doors of January.
Cool title.
Yeah, it's called Unbearably Beautiful. So I don't know if I'm going to be tortured by it or what, but the cover, it has that cover that's like, feels like velvet. You just kind of want to like rub it on your face. Like touch that. Like it feels so nice.
Sorry, let me rub the back.
Yeah, there you go. It just feels nice. Like you just like butter. Like you just want to like, yeah, you just want to hold it.
I see Rachel in all the bookstores.
Just like rubbing. It's very tactile.
It's that woman again who rubs her face on all the books.
I'm gonna go clean it behind me. That's great. Anyway, so this is talking about a ward of the wealthy Mr. Locke. All right. So this man apparently has this giant mansion, and it's very well maintained and ignored and out of place, but she finds a strange book, one that tells a tale of secret doors of love, adventure, and danger. So for the first time, January realizes she can escape her story and sneak into someone else's. Ooh, doesn't that sound
that
fun?
does sound good.
That sounds fun.
I'm kind of in.
I'm very excited, and it also has the deckled edges.
I'll probably read it when you're done.
Okay, there we go. We share. But yeah, and then she could also rub her face on it. Take it into a weird place. It's okay.
I don't know how we got there, but we went.
It's cool.
Okay, I don't remember if I bought these at the same time or just bought them closely together, but this is another one by Christina McMorris.
It's another Target purchase.
It is another Target one.
I'm gonna pick off my
See the
sticker.
sticker. So she's also the author of Sold on a Monday.
Okay.
Which was on the
we have a little
Decision
crossover
Fatigue
going
Wheel.
on.
This one it's kind of a twist on the Cyrano story.
Fun.
So, yeah, it takes place in World War II.
Love that.
And at like a USO type exchange, she meets this guy, and her roommate meets, her and her roommate. And so
Sorry, I'm disrupting. Look at what it covered up. There is
cool.
a creature
Coming out of
octopus
the
limb
thing.
on there.
Okay, that feels like
that Target sticker covered up. Sorry. I totally disrupted.
It's fine. I was with you. Anyway, so it's kind of a twist on Cyrano. So she starts writing to this soldier who's been deployed, but as her roommate. And so I thought it was kind of a fun historical fiction twist on Cyrano.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, so it just sounded fun. It sounded, it's definitely not got the like tragic vibe of Sold on a Monday. So I'm interested to kind of compare the two because they're by the same author. So we'll see. It's fair.
All right. Last one
for today.
That I don't. Oh my God, another. I was giving away where I buy all my books. This is
That's
another
okay.
Target
Listen,
purchase.
we're real people. You know.
I mean, I'm at Target like 3 times a week. Once again, because I have small children. I have to wait.
Yeah, just show it.
Just show it.
Yeah.
All right, it's called Lore by Alexandra Bracken. And, ooh, I love it. Bind Your Fate to Mine, it says on the bottom of that cover. And look at this cover.
I shan't be binding my fate to yours, but okay.
Look at that. Like, I just.
Got a cool Medusa thing. Right?
It does. And see, ooh, that Greek mythology. There I am. Just sucked right in like through a straw. All right. So, this sounds really, really interesting. I have to be honest, I just grabbed it. I didn't even read what it was about. But, but it's talking about 9 Greek gods who were forced to walk the earth as mortals. So it's
unfortunate for them, I'm sure.
And this is another New York City one, so I have a couple that are placed in New York City. Actually 3, Witch Haven, City We Became, this one.
They're trends.
That's
Things
cool.
are kind of cyclical.
Yeah. But I love this because it seems like it's some kind of like crossover between ancient mythology and lore and in a modern setting. So I'm just super intrigued by this. It sounds almost kind of like an adult, like Percy Jackson deal. I don't know what's happening, but I'm intrigued and I want to read it. I'm one of those people who sometimes will pick up a book knowing next to nothing about it. So I go into it with no expectations, but just to, go for a ride.
For the ride.
And I enjoy that. This also has that butter cover too, where I can like rub my face on it. I'll try not to because it's so white.
It's going to be a new category of Rachel's book rankings. But how buttery is it? How's the face feel?
Yeah, it doesn't have anything really super fun on the inside. Sometimes the hardcovers do, but not that one.
Well, I mean, on the inside cover, it has that map.
Yeah, on the inside. Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah, cool. Little New York City for you. I'm excited.
Okay. So for my final book of the book haul, it is Marie Benedict's new book. Well, not new. Actually, this is not her newest book. Her newest book is Personal Librarian, I think. Anyway, Glamour called it one of the best books of 2020. It's a historical fictional telling. This is, if you recall from Shuffle the TBR, I convinced Rachel to try one of these books. Which, are they the most historically accurate? No. Do they intrigue you about the person and like kind of drive you to learn more? Yes. And this one is about Winston Churchill's wife, Lady Clementine, which I'm very interested because, again, I'm a big, World War II history person, and I know very little about her. So I'm very excited to read this book. Also, I love the color palette. I mean, I know they did it to go along with the title, but like, it's a cute book.
It jumps out at you.
Yeah, it jumps out.
Oh, I do have one more. I don't have it here because I left it at school, but I did start The Wheel of Time, The Eye of the World. I'm only like 14 pages in, so I have no real opinion of it.
Days.
At this point, yes, I got distracted by Amanda telling me that I needed to read a vampire cozy. So I am halfway through this book that she recommended.
I did, guys. Okay, if you remember in my...
she thought I needed something lighter after finishing Red Rising.
I did. She did. Yeah. And trust me, this is like as light as it gets. It's Nancy Warren, the Vampire Knitting Club. They're just delightfully cheesy little romps, and I enjoy them so much. And I am banking on Rachel's not being able to quit books. But I'm really excited to have somebody to talk to him about because she's on the first book and I'm on book 6.
I won't promise her past this one, but I am intrigued. I want to see where it's going. So there's enough there to get me to keep reading. I have a very difficult time DNFing books. So
and I am 100% using that to my advantage.
So yeah, it's terrible. People say I need to not do that, but it's that DNFing's healthy. I understand it rationally, but I can't.
But I
just can't. So, yeah, I will, I'll be finishing that one up and I'm sure chitty chat about it in the hall.
All right. So, well, thanks for coming on this book haul with us. We hope, we want to know what you're reading.
What are you reading?
Have
you read these ones? Are they worth it?
Are there any of these?
Don't scare us too bad.
Yeah, don't scare us. Because clearly we already bought it. But like, what do you think? Have you read some of these? Just, we like to talk to you in the comments. So
we do.
If you're enjoying our videos at all, please like and subscribe. It helps us out. And comment below. We will see you next time. Bye. So sorry. And I just listened to your thing. Albus, get out of there. He's in my yarn drawer right now. You can't see him because he's called in the yarn drawer that he's not supposed to be in.
Uh-oh.
Albus. The cat and yarn thing is real. That's all I'm saying.
Come out of there.